You need to be a man's peace.
Yeah.
And then he can be your security. Can you give him what he needs to be what you need? That's the question we don't have to answer. So, hope that helps.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, and that's the thing. Look, man, none of us there's no perfect situation. There's no perfect solution, right? You just have to decide you pick somebody. Eventually you're going to have to just give up and say, okay, come on, let's go on over here. You put my teeth in and I'll give you an answer. How are you?
Oh, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. How old are you? You got something going on over there with your Bluetooth or your Wi-Fi or something. And I'm gonna give you about 15 seconds to get your Wi-Fi together. Gentlemen, I'm gonna be honest. Hello?
Yes.
All right, very good. How old are you?
27.
27. All right, what's your disagreement?
I mean, I've been listening to a lot of what's been being said, and I have more questions now than I started. A lot of women, well, some of the women do have, well, a lot of the women that have spoken don't have children, and they look at themselves as, stronger women, and what's the issue of not getting a man? My thing is more of, I have a child, I'm 7, I started my family.
You have one? How many?
1.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have 1 child. I started my family very young. Single mother, but I was in a long-term relationship.
Okay.
I do want to settle down with a man, but I kind of have similar questions as to the woman that asked, like, how do you find a man?
Well,
and
you want to settle down or you want to be married?
I want to be married. I don't want to have pointless relationships.
Do you want any more children?
Eventually, yes. When I am able to. But it goes back to when I am able to provide for my children on my own. But I also know that a marriage is a partnership, which is kind of what I'm not used to seeing.
Do you want any more children?
Say that again?
Do you want any more children?
Yes.
See? Okay. And how old is your child?
She's 9.
All right. How many more children would you like to have after you're married?
2. Maybe.
Huh?
1 for sure.
Okay. And what city or state do you live in?
I live in Mass.
What, Massachusetts? Boston?
Boston.
All right. So, did you go to college?
I did, yes.
Graduate as well?
One of our favorite foods and a crop that just in the summertime, especially here in the north, is strawberries. Luscious red globes of amazing flavor. Everyone loves strawberries. And in that rare instance when the planets align for us gardeners, we get lucky. Because strawberries are also super easy to grow. They're not foolproof, however, and there's a couple of hard rules that we need to observe when we're growing strawberries at home. Not complicated and nothing we can't handle. But to grow the biggest and best and most strawberries that you've ever grown, the plants do need a few things from us first. And we'll cover all of that stuff today. The definitive guide to growing your own strawberries right at home. I've got these guys planted everywhere, and I've grown strawberries for as long as I can remember. So sit back and relax. Spring is here, yes. We've got plenty of time to get our berry patches going. Strawberries are a cool climate crop, tolerating sub-zero winters and up to 85 to 90 degree Fahrenheit summers. The optimal range for these guys, however, is between 60 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit, making them the perfect berry crop for zones 5 to 10. No matter where you live, strawberry plants do need protection. They need protection from the frost in the winter, and they need protection from the overbearing heat in the summer. But we'll get to those things a little bit later. Strawberry plants have extremely shallow root systems, and as such, they're suitable for both raised beds and container gardening. They're nothing if not versatile. There's one thing though that you can't compromise on when you're growing strawberries, and that's drainage. Although they like it consistently moist, wet, soggy, or anaerobic conditions can prove fatal for strawberries. The best soil is a loose, sandy loam that's high in organic matter. Strawberries soak up the nutrients like crazy, so amending your soil with compost is one of the best things you can do. pH neutral or slightly acidic is also ideal. Amending your soil with compost is one of the best things you can do. pH neutral or slightly acidic is also ideal. Strawberry plants do like full sun, but as a low crawling type of plant, they're not too fond of high winds. Their relatively large palmate leaves are tough, yes, but they can desiccate under extreme wind and heat. And you know what? So can the fruit. Now when that happens, they become tough and not nearly as desirable to eat. So if you're growing on an exposed patio or deck like I do with some of my strawberries, give them some protection from the high winds, either from a railing, your house, or even other plants. Quickly back to that moisture for just a sec. Strawberries are a berry-producing woodland plant by nature. They love a moist soil, but not soaking wet and certainly not standing in water. Like we said, good drainage is going to serve them well. I know it seems like a long list of requirements when you lay it all out like that, but really it's typical of most crops. Whenever you have a plant fail or perform poorly, it's always wise to go back and look at the requirements. See what you could have done differently. Alright, if you're just beginning and you're trying to get them going for the first time, strawberry plants can be started in 3 different ways. First up, strawberry plants sprout and grow readily from seed. Also, the plants themselves send out runners, known as stolons, when they reach their second year of growth. These are essentially satellite daughter plants, and they can be cut off and grown into brand new clones. And finally, strawberry plants are actually a clumping crop. Starting in year 3 or 4, you can divide up the crowns of a mother plant into individual plants and repopulate your entire patch that way. Let's take a closer but brief look at all 3, starting with seeds. Okay, I just gotta throw this out there. If you've decided to grow your strawberries from seeds, you gotta know that it's by far the longest and most arduous path to a berry bonanza. The seeds sprout readily, but most strawberries set their fruit in the fall or winter prior to the next harvest. So no matter how early you get your seeds going, you are 1 to 2 years away from seeing any fruit. So yes, it can be done, but it rarely is. However, if you are going to grow your strawberries from 2 seeds, there's 2 things you need to know. 1, cold stratifying the seeds prior to planting will greatly increase your odds of germination. This is how it would happen in nature, and strawberries are just one of those plants that really benefit from it. And 2, all strawberries are hybrids. Collecting seeds from store-bought or even from your own patch could yield unknown results. Food for thought. As for runners, which is where these guys were taken from, getting them early enough and getting them established can give you great results. Not necessarily in the same season, just because there's usually not enough time, but for sure the next year. If I'm collecting runners to start new plants, I simply cut them off as soon as the white root nodules appear on the bottom. You can either put them in water and wait for more roots to develop, or plant them up in soil right away. And in fact, it's always a good idea to cut the runners off anyway. they're a massive drain on the mother plants. So even if you don't want more strawberry plants, it's a good idea to remove them as soon as you see them. Think of strawberry runners like you would the suckers on a vine tomato. Same idea. And finally, we can get oodles and oodles of new strawberry plants simply by dividing our older ones. And this is good. You see, strawberry plants may look large, but they're in fact a grouping of many individual plants. And they're all just in there, jam-packed together, which is a problem, because within a period of time, usually about 5 years, sometimes less, a strawberry patch or bed will become way too crowded. It's gonna start to compete with itself, and it'll start to decline. It's why years 3 and 4 are usually the most productive for any strawberry plant or patch. No matter which way you propagate your strawberries to begin with, the clock is ticking. Yes, they are perennial, and yes, they are extremely low maintenance. But right from the time of planting, the timer is set for the longevity of the crop. As you can see, all 3 methods of producing strawberry starter plants gets you to the same point, right here. So, plants in hand, let's go ahead and plant up a container for patio growing, as well as a raised bed for maximum production. Alright, so this is the point that many of you guys are at right now. Plants in hand, ready to go. Let's go ahead and look at the techniques for planting, including spacing, depth, and care. For most of you guys just starting out, you're either going to have small pots that you made yourself, or local tried and true favorites that you bought from the store. For the lucky individuals that have access to specialty nurseries or seed houses, you may have some bare root examples as well. Each of them is planted the exact same way. But before we get to work, let's quickly discuss the 2 types of strawberry plants that you're going to come across. Visually indistinguishable by the plants and foliage itself, the 2 types of strawberries differ in their fruit production. On the one hand, we have June-bearing varieties. They produce one large summer crop of berries. These guys form buds in the fall for the following year's harvest. On the other hand, we have ever-bearing strawberries. Ever-bearing strawberries produce once in the spring, and then again later on in the summer. If the temperatures are warm enough, they may even produce a 3rd crop early fall. A 3rd type has arisen from older ever-bearing cultivars, and it's known as day neutral. These types of strawberries are going to grow and produce for as long as the temperatures are between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Day neutrals can grow big berries, and they're often grown as annuals, dug up, and then replanted the next year. Regardless of type, the spacing and planting is the exact same. I know this container looks awesome, but let's start off with the raised bed first. Strawberries are shallow-rooted plants requiring only about 5 to 6 inches of soil like that. More is better, obviously, for water retention, nutrient availability, and room to grow. But more than 6 inches is kind of just a waste. Thanks. Okay, this is the bed that we're going to use for our new strawberry patches today. It's an 8x2x1 bed that last grew corn. And right now is growing an excellent crop of weeds. Strawberries are like most plants in that they hate to compete, especially with weeds. Thus, this is no way to start a new patch. So let me go ahead and prepare the bed. Okay, while we're cleaning up and preparing this bed, let's talk a little bit about planting strawberries. Strawberry plants are very hardy. They can be planted early spring, as soon as all